boys and ghouls, aka my children. In 2016, the company Super Genius Comics dug up the corpse of our beloved Tales from the Crypt for 2 issues. And hey, now we're digging it up again so I can present it to you. And when resurrecting a book like Tales from the Crypt, obviously you need some sort of framing device on how that happens, which of course occurs in the brief but silent Stakeout, where a man resembling a certain, well, let's just say he goes by the name Freddy, goes to stake some vampires. While he succeeds once, you can't keep our hosts down. The Crypt Keeper, the Vault Keeper, and the Old Witch always get up again in the tomb of EC Comics. Our true first story is Divestment, featuring a greedy old man named Brent Angleton. He's a trillionaire who has kept himself alive by buying the organs of the young, usually cheating them out of most of their money, as is the case with this poor mother, who sells off her kidneys and he promises to only give her children less than 10% of what he promised. 10 years later, he's still at it, slaughtering a large group of protesters who attack his home, wanting him to divest his earnings in the wake of several scandals. His company hires a new PR woman who has a plan to fake all the divestments to get public attention off of him. But Brent doesn't realize that, being the daughter of the woman he killed at the start, her plan is for him to divest a lot more than that. Second up is Zombie Bank, about a man heavily abused by zombies in this post-apocalyptic world. It seems even after everything happened, the world just continued on. Only everyone was made into a zombie. The only person who didn't bully him, and was still alive, was the boss's secretary. But when he finds her getting bitten by their boss, he realizes he must put an end to this monstrous world by killing his zombie boss. How strange then, that after he kills the boss, they all stop being zombies, and no one remembers being a zombie, and all they do remember is that he's a murderous freak. The Werewolf of Wall Street brings us to Detectives Wayland and Branch, investigating the murders of several greedy partners in a firm, the last of whom believes his own private security company will do better in finding the killer than them. Wayland is more than happy to wash his hands of the whole affair. Such people deserve their fate. And when that same man is found dead, Wayland can only shrug and figure that it's the end of it. Brand becomes suspicious of such a thought and begins investigating Wayland after he retires, learning of her partner's squalid conditions, even having to eat dog food, and finds her proof that he is indeed the murderer. Or rather, his more bestial form is. While she manages to put him down without silver bullets, she does wonder how he became a werewolf. And the answer lies in the dog food he was eating, filled by a company owned by the firm that moved to Russia, on some special ingredients added by the Vault Keeper. Next up is Picture Perfect, about some high school girls taking photos of themselves in a gym. When one mean girl takes a photo of another girl's ass in her panties and uploads it online, where it becomes an instant viral meme. I guess there aren't that many pictures of butts on the internet. They can't prove she was the one who did it, and she brags about insulting her online to all her friends. But then on her way home while drunk, she runs a guy over. Wanting to protect herself, this mean girl tosses the body into a nearby bay, only to find the next day that every picture coming out of her victim's camera is pictures of the girl's late-night hit and run. We move on to Undertow, about a woman whose daughter supposedly drowns from the undertow at the beach, yet she can still hear her daughter's voice pleading with her. When a friend comes by to offer her some wine as condolences, though, she finds out that the voice is very real and very abused. Mommy Dearest has apparently kept her daughter quite alive, though just barely, and continually punishing her for not keeping things clean. Fortunately, the friend calls the police, and Mommy Dearest finds herself having to clean up after her cellmate. Moving on, we have feed it, where a man and his hunchbacked assistant have been keeping a monster locked up in a decrepit castle with the intention of selling it to a circus. The problem is that they have to keep feeding it live bodies, but now they've been found out by the local village. And what's worse, the hunchback accidentally kills their latest victim while they drag them down to the basement. So of course he quickly disables the hunchback and shoves him in to be eaten by the monster, but doesn't watch his footing properly, slipping on the hunchback's blood and paralyzing his back. He cannot escape, but just watch in horror as the monster, a giant snake, digests its latest victim. And once that digestion is complete, it will slide to the bars for its next meal, him. And our final tale is Leather or Not, about a fashion mogul and his scarred assistant. They have been working for some time on a magnificent style of clothing that relies on only the softest material they can find, human skin. They murder those who would visit the mogul and his palatial estate and skin them to make fabulous clothing. But one time, the mogul makes it clear to his scarred companion how much he loathes his appearance and his advances on him. And so the assistant decides to make things out on his own, with a new outfit made from his employer. Tales from the Crypt, even when made nowadays, always manages to sew together such glorious stories, my children. And just like that last tale, they always use the right amount of dye.